morning, good evening, YouTube citizen. Hey, I have my brother Deon here. First time been watching the Straitway Truth Ministry for the last
5 years.
5 years, and so. Hey, Brother Deon, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you being here. Hey, so there was something interesting you said the other day on Shabbat. You were saying that seeing the people here, especially the sisters here, you felt like it made you feel like you had to learn how to be a man again. Can you please explain what you were saying that day?
Right. So when I got together the first time here at Straitway, and we were all together and we were having a meal, and I was looking at how the women treated their men and how the children were well behaved. I thought to myself, like, actually I put a mirror up. I was looking at myself as opposed to the families here at Straitway. And I said to myself, and I need to sit under Pastor Dow and Brother Kabir's feet and learn how to be a man. I thought I was a man. I was a man in the world in a Christian way. And then when I put myself up against the brothers, I'm like, I was a shell of a man. I had the form of a man, but I wasn't really a man, not in a real Israel way. So I was a man in a worldly way. I said, I need to learn how to become a man of Israel.
Wow. So when you came up here the other day, you've been here now. Tell me what your experience is like, just been fellowship with this whole past Shabbat, first day, sixth day. You've been here since sixth day, right. This first day now. What has it been like just being here now finally from watching it all on YouTube and now being here with some of the saints and fellowshipping?
Well, it's amazing. So watching as many of Straitway videos, Straitway Tennessee, I've watched your channel. I even watched some, what's the wives channel called?
The Sisters or
the Help Meets.
Help Meets, yep. Okay, wow.
Help Meets. So, okay. Right. So I had a perspective on how it was going to be, but nothing can really prepare you for when you come and see it for yourself in person. And I tell you, like last night, I told you I woke up at 3 in the morning and I couldn't go back to sleep because my mind was racing trying to process, Israel. I'm like, look at Israel. Like, I've been living in bizarro world, and this is the real world the way Yah has set it up. And so I'm trying to process it in my mind, and I'm like, you know what? It's like Pastor Dow said in the sermon we watched. I needed to separate myself out of bizarro world so I can come into the real world and learn to be a man, because again, I saw myself as a shell of a man. Yesterday, for the first time in my life, I saw myself as a shell of a man. And so I woke up in the middle of the night and I was thinking, I need to train myself up to be a real Israelite man.
Wow. So let me ask you, so you've been watching this thing for 5 years. What took you so long to finally make yourself known, to finally, be a part of fellowship?
Well, I want to say hallelujah, because I've always, when I've been exposed to truth, I followed it. So when I left the Christian church, I went and I followed Jehovah's Witnesses because they said, you shouldn't celebrate holidays. And I looked into it and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't celebrate holidays. But then I spent 13 years in that organization. And then I found out about Shabbat and other things. And I found out that their replacement theology was wrong, and that they're telling me that the law's done away with, and I found out that was wrong. And much like I walked away from the Christian church, I had to walk away from the Jehovah's Witnesses. So I said, you know what, when I do it next time, I'm going to do it right, because Jehovah's Witnesses, they left out sections of the Bible. I didn't study to show myself approved. I didn't have the mindset of a Berean. So I said, I'm going to study this Bible, and then I'm going to find out who's actually following this Bible, who's walking this walk. And after a process of elimination from going online and going on YouTube, and I would go behind anybody that I watch in the book, and I kept going behind Pastor Dow, and I couldn't find it. And I'm looking. I was looking because I'm like, hey, I'm not wasting 13 years of my life. I'm looking. I said, and 5 years later, I'm like, give it up, just stop. The man is preaching truth. And the way he preaches his message as a strong man of Yah, as a strong Israelite, that appealed to me, right? So I said, it's time to stop. And when I found out there was a Green Bay fellowship, I'm like, praise Yah, I got a fellowship right in my backyard. I'm like, what's stopping me? What's stopping me?
Now, you and I are in the same age group. Remember WWF? You had the WWF or WWE now, right? And they had this thing called the Battle Royal, right? And I remember you was telling your story about all of the different camps, the Hebrew Israelite camps and everything. I mean, can you just tell us how just kind of give us a range, and then how you just how you started, like how did people get knocked out and it was left with Pastor Dow? If you can just kind of retell that.
Okay, much like a lot of Hebrews, I imagine that, they got exposed to the camp. So the first camp I got exposed to is IUIC, which I fondly refer to as the purple people eaters.
Okay.
All right, because they eat people's soul. They hook you in, again, that little bit of truth. That little bit of truth is sweet. And then you start finding out that they teaching that Joseph is the biological father of our Messiah. And we know that's not the case. And then that only Israel can be saved. Forget about the fact that Revelation says it's going to be a great crowd of all nations, tribes, people, and tongues. So again, with my past experience of, wasting the 13 years, I okay, I got to reject you out of hand because you got some truth, but you don't have the truth. All right. And then I started looking at the other camps, ISUPK, and they were wearing hexagrams. And I'm like, next. And then I started watching Pastor Dow's video. I think Pastor Dow hooked me in because he was talking about prepping, and I have a website on prepping. And so I'm like, Hebrew, that's prepping. And then he started talking about, how, he had his women prepared and his women, were able to defend themselves. And so I'm like, let me listen to his other messages. Then I started testing his doctrine, and I was testing and testing. 5 years later, and I'm waiting. And another thing that, I'm waiting for him to say something that I couldn't, it never happened. And then the thing that was amazing to me is Pastor Dow, he said, go behind me, check. I hadn't seen that before. Because in Jehovah's Witness, they're like, don't go outside of us. Stay here and listen to us. You don't want to listen to Pastor Dow said, go on out there and check behind me. And I said, that's a sincere man of Yah. That's who I can help pastor me and teach me how to be that man. Because I was a man of the world, but I was a shell of a man. I don't want to be a worldly man. I want to be a man of Israel.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Now, everybody, Deon is from Chicago, right? Chicago. Was he born and raised in Chicago?
I was born in Chicago, raised in Chicago from the age of 10 to 15. Then I moved to the suburbs of Chicago. So I'm in Chicago.
So you guys Chicago. So just to tell you how being born again changes everything. You guys all know I played for the Green Bay Packers. I mean, this man was a diehard Chicago Bear fan, right? And in spite of it all, he was able to overcome and be here, would be willing to come in here and say, I'm going to come here in spite of me being a Packer. How are you able to overcome? I mean, people want to know, like you mean in Chicago, how are you able to put all that aside and come to Straitway Praise Land in spite of the Packer and the Chicago?
Let me just give it to you straight and raw.
Yes, sir.
Brother, you terrorized me as a Bears fan. You terrorized me. Just sacking our quarterbacks all the time. I'm like, oh, this guy. Would somebody block this guy? But y'all is wonderful and y'all is amazing because here it is, someone that I rooted against, for your whole career, and turns out in the future we're gonna twice a year. Turns out that you're my brother. Wow. I'm like, here's this guy that terrorized me. He's my brother.
Hallelujah.
I'm like, so, brother, you went from being a terrorist to my brother and praise God for it.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. And then I know it's too, you saying that you were just going to come for just one day. You just wanted to come for the Shabbat, but you changed your mind. What happened? What made you change your mind, say you're going to stay for the whole experience?
Been around y'all's people, hands down. Just seeing the fellowship, seeing how people relate to each other, seeing how people love on each other, seeing how the families respect their men, right? And seeing how the men, were kings and priests over their families. And I said, I need to see more of this. I need to learn more of this. I need to submerge myself in this. So I'm like, no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna stay and I'm gonna learn, because I want to learn. Again, I know I keep saying it. I want to learn how to be a man in Israel.
What do you have to say? Like, I know obviously you came at a time where there was a tornado in Tennessee, right. So we end up watching the old archive. But what's your feel about Pastor Dow? I mean, obviously you've been watching a lot of his videos, looking behind his word. But if you, I mean, what is your feel from Pastor Dow? I mean, that gets you excited about being underneath Pastor Dow's teaching.
Well, the thing I liked about Pastor Dow is I like Bible truth. And Pastor Dow is about the truth. He don't sugarcoat it. So you see other pastors, they will teach a topic and they know it's something that maybe the pastorists don't want to hear, right? But he's just going to give it to you straight, whether you want to hear it or not, because to coin a phrase, because that's the truth, and that's the truth straightway. And it's that boldness in which you preach that really drew me in, because inside, that's the way I am. Hey, this is the truth. Whether like it or love it, that's what it is. We get in line with Yah. Yah doesn't get in line with us.
So what's your whole synopsis, or just your feel? What did you, from your whole experience just coming? You came on 6th day. You've seen how we do it on 6th day, Shabbat, and first day. How was it, and do you plan on coming back?
I definitely plan on coming back. Every Shabbat. I loved it. I was amazed. I was enthralled. I wanted more of it. My spirit craves it, you know, to fellowship and to be around. Again, I want to, like, I don't know if you saw the Marvel movie Doctor Strange.
Yes, I did.
He said, "Teach me everything," and that's the way I want. That's the way I feel, because I want to be a man, and I want to be a man in Israel, because again, Straitway has been a mirror, and it's shown me the shortcomings I had, and so I want to remedy those shortcomings. So yes, I plan on coming back.
That's good.
Yep.
Hallelujah. Well, guys, that's all we have for you. But this is Brother Deon, and we're glad to have him. Great time. We had a great fellowship this past Shabbat. Hope to see him more, and hope to see you. Shalom.
Shalom.